All you need to know in your first ever chapter in the Combined Science Biology and Chemistry syllabus in under 5 minutes. There are 3 things you need to know in the cell structure chapter. So first is the difference between animal and plant cells. Second will be the different structures and functions of the organelles in both animal and plant cells. Lastly, we'll talk about some specialized cell types that look a bit different. For animal and plant cells, they differ in 3 ways. Number 1, plant cells have chloroplasts, which animal cells do not have. So chloroplasts contain chlorophyll, which are used to trap light energy and convert it into chemical energy during photosynthesis. Number 2, plant cells have a large central vacuole that is used to store cell sap and to maintain turgor, which is the rigidity or the firmness of the cell, so that in stems, right, they will help make the plants appear more upright and stand firm. Number 3 is that plant cells have cell walls while animal cells don't. And so cell wall is used to maintain the shape and give support to the cell structure, and also prevent it from bursting when too much water enters it by osmosis. So this will be an important link to the next chapter on diffusion and osmosis. And you can guess that because animal cells don't have cell wall, when too much water enters our cells, they actually burst. Next part is about the different structures or organelles in the cells and their functions. So what we have in common with plant cells is cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, mitochondria, and ribosomes. Cell membrane is actually partially permeable. That means that they selectively allows certain things to pass in and out of the cells. And so it regulates movement of materials in and out of cells. Take note that even though plant cells have cell wall, the cell wall actually doesn't regulate movement of substances into the cell because they are fully permeable, so they allow anything and everything to enter. It is the cell membrane's job to actually filter out what can ultimately enter or leave the cell. Second is the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is like floor space. We don't actually pay attention to the floor, right? We just take it for granted. But actually cytoplasm is pretty important because it suspends all the organelles within the cell and allow chemical reactions to take place as substances travel within the cell. So imagine if we don't have floor space on Earth, or like even on the roads that we walk on, we probably won't be able to do anything. The nucleus stores hereditary information in the form of DNA that can be passed down to other cells during cellular reproduction. In addition, they also control the cell activities within the cell. Unlike the large central vacuole in plant cells, our animal cells' vacuoles are small and numerous. So we use them to store food and nutrients and even waste materials temporarily. Coming to the last 2 structures, which is the mitochondria and ribosomes, they are the star of this chapter. So mitochondria is a sausage-like structure, and learned it as the powerhouse of the cell. Why do we say that? Because it conducts aerobic respiration to release energy for us. Pay attention to the keywords that is used here as well, is to conduct aerobic respiration to release energy. For ribosomes, we use them for protein synthesis. So I'm just putting up some micrographs that you might see in your exam scripts. So just to familiarize yourself with how they look like under the microscope. Lastly, we look at the different structures of specialized cells or tissues. So first up is your root hair cells. So root hair cells look like this. It has a very long, narrow protrusion that actually increases the surface area to volume ratio so that it can increase the absorption of water and mineral salts by osmosis and diffusion respectively. One thing you'll notice about root hair cells is that they are also white in color, which means they have no chloroplasts. Can you think of a reason why we won't have any chloroplasts? Muscle cells have a lot of mitochondria, which enables them to conduct much aerobic respiration to release more energy to meet their high energy demand. So pro tip, for any questions that ask you why this particular cell has a lot of mitochondria, this could be like your liver cells or your heart muscle cells, you can always relate them to having to do more aerobic respiration to release energy. Last but not least is your red blood cells. This one it usually comes out in most specialized cell structure questions, so pay a lot of attention to it. So red blood cells are actually biconcave in shape. This allows it to have more surface area to volume ratio to allow faster rate of diffusion of oxygen into it. Secondly, they also have no nucleus in order to store more hemoglobin, which is used to bind to oxygen to transport it around the body. Lastly, they are small and flexible in order to squeeze through tiny narrow blood capillaries in our body. As a bonus, we look at xylem vessels. Xylem vessels are not cells but actually tissues, and they are part of vascular bundles in plants that transports water and mineral salts within the plant. So it is actually lignified, which means that it actually has lignin being deposited onto the walls of the xylem tissues, and this actually kills the cells within the xylem tissue, and the cells ultimately slough away from the walls, leaving behind a hollow tube. So your xylem vessel is actually dead, but this is good because it helps promote a continuous flow of water and mineral salts up the plant. So that's all for this chapter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you wish to learn more about other topics that are related, especially to the Combined Science Bio and Chem syllabus in Singapore. Bye!